Well, it sure looks like the internet scored a big victory as one of WWE's most polarizing characters, figures, whatever you want to call her, may now be on permanent hiatus. Eva Marie made her long-awaited return to a WWE ring. Sort of. And will the Queen be facing any ramifications this time around? I'm Ucchino, back here again for Sportskeeda Wrestling. Before we get into our Raw recap this week, make sure to click this button, subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for more content like this, plus exclusive interviews. I have a big one coming up later this week ahead of Hell in a Cell on Sunday. Subscribe, turn on those notifications so you don't miss out. All right, all of that said, business done. Let's get into it. Here is what Raw got right this week and what made me want to go upstairs, crawl in bed, and get into the fetal position.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
This was a very yin and yang episode of Monday Night Raw, as there were a lot of promising things that happened in a bubble, but most of the time those things were brought down with the, yeah, but why are you doing it that way? Let's focus a majority of this video on the women's division here, as WWE spent a lot of time featuring them this week. We had 4 women's matches last night. That is huge, considering just a few weeks ago, we were getting 1 in the 3rd hour, if we were lucky. That said, old Nitpick Rick is back to go, what the hell are you doing on each and every single one of these matches? And we will start with Nikki Cross and Charlotte. Nikki stretched her recent win streak up to 5 now after she beat Charlotte Flair on Monday via countout. Once again, Cross painted as someone who was just lucky to be there and only won because Charlotte was too busy focusing and showboating in front of Rhea Ripley, who of course had to come down mid-match to catch a front row seat for this one. Cross would then go on to celebrate and then be beaten down by Charlotte and not seen again for the rest of the night. This is the strangest build, and I say that loosely, build I have ever seen for somebody. Is it asking too much to treat Nikki Cross as a serious competitor, which she is, and give her some legit victories? Despite her win streak, Cross was not added to the Hell in a Cell Raw Women's title match like many of us thought she would, which is strange considering others have been added to title matches for accomplishing far less. However, it is going to remain Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley, even though a pissed off Charlotte attacked Rhea after her match with Asuka and put her hands on several WWE officials in the process, including Adam Pearce. This is something the Queen was already suspended and fined heavily for once, quite recently, and no mention of that this time around. The brawl itself was fantastic. It was really fun to watch. Charlotte got bloodied up a little bit. This is what these two should have been doing for weeks now. And by the way, I had no issues with Rhea's match with Asuka. It was really good. A lot of great in-ring work this week. Awesome matchup. These two have clearly worked out whatever chemistry issues they had early on in their programs that we saw at WrestleMania and the night after Raw. The problem is that we have seen these two compete against one another 7 out of 11 times that Asuka has had a match recently. It's no wonder they've been able to work out their kinks in their in-ring chemistry. It's time to stop now. At least for a while. We can revisit this. I would love to watch these two wrestle again. Just not next week, or the week after, or the week after that, or the week after that, or the week after that, or the week after that. You get my point. Eva Marie made her highly anticipated debut last night. Sort of. She was advertised for a match with Naomi, the last woman, actually, that she was in a WWE ring with back in 2016, but instead, a debuting Piper Niven of WWE UK accompanied Eva down to the ring, took her place in the match, and absolutely destroyed Naomi in mere minutes to pick up the win.
I have several questions.
1, you ran weeks of vignettes for Eva, only to jump right back into the same pattern you were in 5 years ago. She was advertised for a match and then didn't wrestle. I know some of you out there are rejoicing in that, but still, I want to see what she can do this time around. But okay, You did this to debut and focus on a new superstar. On the main roster anyway, a new superstar. Fantastic, except inexplicably you decided to strip her of her identity. She's not Piper Niven anymore, apparently, despite being known to wrestling diehards across the globe, especially in the UK, and despite being one of the key stars of WWE's own brands. The commentary team was forced to act as if they had no idea who she was. Not to steal a line from Stone Cold Steve Austin, but what? What are we doing? If you're going to run 4 brands, technically 5 or 6 as deep as they go, is it so hard to keep up with continuity? The casual fans may not know who she is, but it's insulting to your P1 audience and the people who cover the sport professionally to just act like Piper Niven never existed. And again, it makes the commentary team look incredibly stupid. It's Retribution and General Aziz all over again. Stop it. We know who these people are. Hell, Piper Niven has a profile on WWE's own website. What are we doing? Stop it. She doesn't need a new gimmick. She doesn't need a new identity. But the bottom line here is, though, and I'm going to try to focus on the positive even after all that diatribe. Piper, or whatever her name is going to be, she's awesome. She is fantastic. I am so happy she has this opportunity on the main roster. Hopefully, whatever her new name is, doesn't suck. That's all I'm going to say right now. Please don't suck. Oh, and poor Naomi, meanwhile, literally anyone could have taken that L, and she took it like a champ, but it didn't have to be her. You could have pulled anybody up from the Performance Center and squashed them. It didn't have to be Naomi. And yes, she deserves better. Finally, Alexa Bliss wrestled a one-on-one singles match in the women's division for the first time since February. Very cool. She defeated Nia Jax after the Irresistible Force challenged Bliss, seeking revenge for what Lily did to Shayna Baszler last week. Again, great to see Alexa back in the ring. It has been far too long. Unfortunately, WWE just couldn't help themselves. Just as it looked like Alexa was going to beat Jax, Reggie shows up for the DQ finish.
Oh, come on!
Because of course. Why? Why couldn't Nia just take a pinfall? We can't have that. I mean, seriously, what harm would it have done for Nia to be beaten there, when it is very likely that her tag team partner is going to at Hell in a Cell this coming Sunday? Every time that Reggie interferes in a match, I feel like I die just a little bit inside. Stop it. Maybe Alexa can do some of her voodoo magic and just make Reginald disappear. Can we give Reggie a new identity? Can we give Reggie the Piper Niven treatment? Put this guy into witness protection, something. I'm rambling here, but seriously, Reggie, please go away. Stop getting involved in these matches. Stop it. Speaking of Bliss, congratulations, Internet. It looks like you have won. After haunting Shayna Baszler last week, Alexa decided to put Lily into a timeout. After weeks of bitching from the WWE Universe, it appears as though creative has pulled the plug on the demonic doll. Now, I could take or leave Lily, to be honest with you. I didn't have a huge problem with this angle. It doesn't bother me, though, that Lily is now gone. Again, I could take her or leave her, but this does remind me a lot of the Eric Rowan and the Spider saga that we saw unfold over several weeks. You spent months building something up only to kill it off with very little fanfare. Maybe Lily will return, but I highly doubt it. And maybe it's for the best, to be completely honest. Clearly, there was major pushback for creative diving this far into the horror genre and supernatural side of things. And with the company getting ready to go back out onto the road again, maybe it's time to come back a little closer to reality. I still firmly believe that there is a place for supernatural elements in wrestling, but I will admit it would be hard to keep going all in to the kind of levels that WWE were going to during the height of the pandemic, now that live crowds are coming back. I do like Alexa in this supernatural character. I find her way more interesting this way, and she has been doing hella good work, so hopefully they keep her there, even if Lily is permanently gone. Oh boy, spent a lot of time on the ladies there. Sorry boys, only time for a few quick hitters for you. Jeff Hardy had a weird night, losing to John Morrison and then randomly putting his career on the line against Cedric Alexander. Hardy would win the second matchup, but Cedric came off looking bad here, losing a match to a guy who literally just wrestled and lost minutes before. We got another Jaxson Ryker Elias match with the same exact finish that we saw a week prior, but damn it, man, we just can't put Damian Priest on TV. That is certainly quite the decision, WWE, and a very, very bad one. By the way, no one is going to root for Jaxson Ryker, so stop trying to make it happen. Team RK Bro is incredible together. They defeated New Day in an absolute banger. The honor roll into the RKO was an amazing way to close it out. Orton and Riddle have fantastic chemistry with one another, and they are genuinely fun to watch. Meanwhile, MVP and Kofi Kingston, their backstage segments recently have me very intrigued for the future. Last night, MVP clearly trying to drive a wedge between Woods and Kofi, trying to split up the longtime friends and partners as a way to recruit the former WWE champion. I don't think, nor do I hope it works out, because New Day should never have been split in the first place and they shouldn't be fighting one another, but it is very possible that we get Kofi and Lashley for the WWE Championship after the Almighty is done with Drew McIntyre at Hell in a Cell. That is if Lashley retains at Hell in a Cell. McIntyre did pin Lashley after his match with AJ Styles predictably turned into a six-man tag match when the Viking Raiders got involved with AJ Styles and Omos. As for predicting this Sunday, I feel like Lashley retains, but I'm just not sure, to be completely honest with you. I could very well see Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Championship for the third time. What I am sure of is, after some very great battles and one more to come, I am ready to see something new for both men. That is our video this time around. Make sure, once again, to give us the old thumbs up there and subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for more content like this, plus exclusive interviews. Don't forget, big one coming up this week ahead of Hell in a Cell, and so much more.